believe our next speaker is somewhere around the Bay Area. Did I get that right, Tristan?
That's absolutely right. I'm from Oakland.
Go.
I'm sitting in Oakland here.
So I gotta tell you a little story about Oakland. Totally not what you think it's gonna be. No, I live in the middle of nowhere, Germany, right? And there's like 100 people that live in my town. And in the next town over where I go running, there's a guy, he's got to be from Oakland. He's just got gigantic Raiders everywhere. Everything is Raiders. And it is, it's so much so that one day I'm going by and he's having a barbecue outside. And I'm just like, dude, what's the deal? Huge Raiders fan. He's from the Bay Area also. And I realize now after saying that story, it's not as good as I thought it was going to be.
Well, we definitely have some Oakland pride here.
Oh man. So Tristan, we're cruising. We're gonna start slicing it up and doing some 10-minute lightning talks. I'm gonna throw 10 minutes on the clock. And of course, if anyone wants to learn more about what you all are doing at Continual, you've got a booth in the solutions tab. So hit the left hand button. It says solutions, and you can go through and you can find all the different booths that we've got and all of the cool stuff. There's great different swag that's being handed out, and there's all kinds of insights that you can find. So Tristan, before I take up any more of your time, man, I'm gonna let you cruise through this and I will jump off the stage. I think, yeah, I see your screen being shared, and it's actually, I'm seeing myself right now on my screen. So I'll let you go to your slides.
I'll switch over to my slides.
There we go. I see your slides.
Go full screen here.
Full screen in it.
Thank you, Demetrius.
Right up. All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, awesome. Well, will be a quick one, so 10 minutes or less. And today I'm really excited to talk about building production AI copilots. My name is Tristan. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Continual.ai. If you want to see what we do, check us out at Continual.ai. We're building a developer platform for generative AI with a focus on helping people build AI copilots for their SaaS applications. I previously was a CTO for machine learning at Cloudera. Built one of the early MLOps platforms that was called Sense, which Cloudera acquired, which is basically a short introduction in a way of saying that I've suffered for the last 10 years in trying to make AI and ML easy by building sort of standard MLOps tools. And today I want to talk about something different that I'm extremely excited by. It's a basic belief that the software experiences that we all are going to have across both our consumer applications, but more importantly, I think our business-to-business applications are about to fundamentally change. We're entering an era of AI copilots. And what does that exactly mean? And what does it mean for us, both as consumers of these applications in terms of how our experiences will change, but also more importantly, what I want to talk about is how does it change for builders, people that want to put AI into the world, how do we go about doing that? So a few observations first up off the top. I think MLOps, traditional MLOps, will mostly be irrelevant. I think AI copilots will not replace existing applications, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. And I think there will not be a single personal AI copilot that rules them all. So it's not that we're going to only talk to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is going to orchestrate every single application. Instead, I think what we're entering when I say the era of AI copilots is an era where every single application out there within every single vertical domain will be enhanced by its own specialized, customized, tailored AI copilot that has connectivity to the data that's sitting inside of that application, the APIs that application has, and is deeply tailored to the workflows of the end user, whether that's a marketer, a salesperson, a doctor, a teacher, a student, a scientist, all of the mechanical engineer, all of those things will be using their own AI copilots. This is an example of Epic. I mean, this is an example of why I believe that AI copilots are going to be embedded into existing applications rather than replacing the applications or having a single AI copilot for all applications. This is an incredibly complicated domain-specific application with a tremendous amount of data around, in this case, patients. And I don't think there's any way that a single AI system or conversational interface is going to replace this. Instead, what's going to happen is these types of applications are going to be fundamentally transformed. Now, what do we mean by fundamentally transform these applications? What are these AI copilots going to look like if they are embedded into these traditional applications? I think there are three emerging patterns for how AI copilots get embedded into the applications. The first is one that we all know and love, which is, or know and sort of certainly love more and more over the last 9 months since the introduction of ChatGPT, which is the conversational experience into applications. And so we're starting to see this in more and more of applications already today. Copilot Chat, Copilot X Chat, or GitHub's Copilot X is introducing a chat experience beyond sort of the autocomplete experience that they have. And the chat experience, while I do not believe it will replace, the entire application, does have incredible use cases around knowledge discovery, ad hoc querying, information retrieval, and it's a very natural user interface that everybody is used to. So I think that what I foresee happening is that every application will add a conversational user experience on top of their existing application, both connected to the underlying data, connected to the APIs, and then specialized to their particular application context. The second dominant pattern I see is not just having an AI chat on the sidebar, but actually trying to put AI into the micro workflows of individual users. And so here's an example from Hex. I think this is one of the best examples of what I would call a Copilot command or a Copilot action. And here they're showing how you can write analytical queries, using sort of, in this case, still natural language to a SQL query. And that can give you relatively complicated SQL queries, or it can do other things, for instance, fixing and suggesting fixes for mistakes or suggesting improvements. And so here you're seeing a Copilot commands in the analytical domain, but you can also think about the similar experiences that you might have seen in, for instance, Notion around writing content, which has similar sort of type of functionality and user experience. The final one is, I think we're also going to see an increasingly more and more Copilot automations. These are full automations of user workflows. This particular one is, again, from GitHub Copilot X, which is, in this case, doing automations on a pull request. So as soon as you open a pull request, there's an event-driven agent or workflow that gets kicked off that looks for bugs, improves, makes the code review suggestions, summarize what's inside of the code review. And so increasingly, I think we're going to move to a world where copilots not only we can ask copilots for things, but they'll also automate our work. The net user benefits here are help illuminate or enrich the information inside of our applications and provide insights, help us complete tasks and streamline our workflows, and then finally help us fully automate tasks and potentially even work autonomously with limited or no intervention from the end user. So the question then becomes, okay, these are putting production AI systems inside of the applications that many of us are building. How do we think about building these particular experiences? And I want to argue that there's thinking about it holistically as the AI inside your application as a Copilot system provides a unifying view to thinking about how to embed these different types of user experiences into your applications, still being powered by a core engine that is connected to the data, the context, the APIs of your individual application or of the individual application domain. So a production Copilot system, we've been working on several at Continual, but a production Copilot system really, I think, has 3 layers. So the first is the user experience. We need to think about how are we going to embed the AI experience into the user workflow. And as I just mentioned, I think there are 3 primary user experiences: the conversational experience, which is chat or a chatbot; a command-oriented experience, which is often in line to a particular workflow, or where you're trying to do a sort of a one-turn task, not have an ongoing sort of interactive conversation with the system. And the final one is automations, a way for these systems to have automated processes that are continually reacting to events that are happening inside of your application and enriching and enhancing and automating the information inside of the application. So the front end is those user experiences, and that's traditional sort of user experience design. They then, I think, will come into a router. So the way we think about it is these different user experiences talk to a common router, which routes it to the internal AI system that is most tailored to the particular domain. So you may have your text to SQL engine that may go to a particular agent behind the scenes that is specialized in doing text to SQL. You may have a conversational support bot that may be a slightly different agent. So from multiple user experiences that you'll go into a router that will then go to multiple potential agents and interaction. By agents, I mean a system that has the capability, an AI system powered by typically a foundation model like the OpenAI ChatGPT models, that has both the capability to respond to natural language to queries, but also the capability to decide on what tools or functions to call. And so the layer below the agent would be your plugin layer. And so this is, I think, what OpenAI is doing here, and the announcements they actually just made earlier this week are the right architecture for building these, or the foundational architecture for building these AI copilots. So OpenAI just announced function calling. That allows the agent to decide and make a decision on what function or plugin to call, and the information to pass into that underlying plugin. Plugins provide a unified interface to all of your external systems, and so that could be your data. So you could use a plugin to connect to a search index or a vector index and look up additional context. You could use that plugin to store information into the data set. You could use it to connect to an external system. So if you were connected, for instance, to your sales system and talking to an external service API, you could do that. And it also allows you to talk to more deterministic workflows. So if you have workflows that are very specific, you can build and have those plugins actually connect to those internal workflows. And then finally, you can actually make this whole system recursive. You can have agents that talk to agents. And so if there's a specialized agent that itself potentially has a limited set of plugins, you can actually create a hierarchical system of agents. And as these copilot systems become more and more sophisticated, I think what you'll see is this sort of this general architecture, and then this recursive nature to this architecture, so you can decompose different elements of your stack. So on the final side, we have observability and guardrails. Of course, observability and across this entire process is incredibly important. So what are the top challenges to putting these copilot systems into production? I think there's really honestly just one, and that's reliability and performance. And so I just want to give a few tips in terms of different ways to kind of that are sort of relatively straightforward in terms of ways to make sure these AI copilots perform well. So the first one is obvious: start simple. Even simple AI copilot features can significantly improve products. I've talked to actually multiple founders who have put AI copilots into their products and have seen like significant uplift from basic plans to premium plans, and ultimately user satisfaction. Observe and watch user behavior like a hawk. So when you're starting out, every single conversation or every single action, you should honestly just look at it and see, is it working? Is it not working? You can honestly, without structured testing, you can fix a lot of problems very quickly by observing the actions of your users. The final thing that I would call level one, which are these easy fixes, is isolate complicated areas of your domain. For instance, if you're doing rich analytical queries, into narrower sub-workflows or agents that can be tested more formally, more easily. And so don't try to make one agent that does everything and decides everything, plans out everything. Instead, decompose it where you have more control over some areas, but maybe more dynamic planning at a higher level. In terms of level two, as you become more sophisticated in production, what do you need to do? The first is build automated evaluations and integrate them into your CI/CD system. So particularly if you're doing difficult analytical queries or difficult automations, you really need a formalized evaluation system. Build how then do you get feedback and improve your system. I think one of the most powerful ways is actually to build and maintain build a system to maintain and dynamically inject few-shot examples into your prompts. So this is a great way where you can collect feedback, see problems, propose solutions, and not pollute your prompt as a huge prompt, but instead dynamically inject the kind of closest examples that you have into your prompt. And that can create a data engine for your application without getting into the complexity of fine-tuning your own model. And finally, try to create delightful and magical experience. One way that we've seen this being incredibly powerful is you actually treat your front end like another plugin API that the agent can manipulate. And that actually can change the user experience and make the user experience quite dynamic. So with that, I guess this is just a call to let's build AI copilots into our applications. And if you are interested in doing this for your own application, or just interested or business, and you're interested in copilots in general, or have thoughts on this general topic, please email me, Tristan@continual.ai, or you can sign up for early access to our platform at continual.ai. Thanks a lot.
So I have so many things. First of all, I love this idea. Second of all, it feels like what I've seen being implemented with this idea has not worked as of yet. And there is this huge desire for it, but it is like, yeah, I mean, you mentioned OpenAI has just come out with it, so hopefully that makes things that are built with these plugins and all of this, these functions more stable. But it is something that I really wonder about. I mean, it's no small feat to try and take this on, Tristan. What gives you the confidence, man? I can't believe it.
Well, I think the critical thing is, we believe that basically these AI copilots are going to enhance your existing applications, not replace them. And that's so you can choose and pick and choose, hey, what are the workflows or what are the sort of the challenges that a user might have where the AI can enhance it, right? So we're already seeing, for instance, that just to do basic support queries, right, this sort of like chat with your docs use case, it actually makes a ton. That's very simple, right? You can implement that, in LangChain or something, pretty quickly yourself. It's a little bit hard when you get to production to kind of make it a production system, but the basic kind of idea of chatting with your documentation actually is a really, really useful product feature, right? It's a better way than searching your docs in many cases. And then I think with Hex, you can see an example of like a very narrow use case. For instance, fix your bugs. If you have something that executes wrong and you have a type error, and then you can fix that right in line. And often you can't see that you're missing a comma somewhere, but it can immediately do that. I think ultimately these things are going to become incredibly rich, right? These autonomous agents that people are, kind of getting excited about will become actually things that work. Right now, that's not the case. But if you think about the next couple of years, that I think that will be the case. And I think all software will have this idea of, my software AI or my software copilot inside of them as part of a core feature of the product.
Yeah, it's so good. I mean, you hit the nail on the head in the LLMs in production report that we just put out, and I will do a shameless plug right here if anybody wants to download it, free, no email needed or anything. But we just put this survey out, right? And it's the report that I've been grappling with this data for the last 3 months or so, even more probably now. And it's very much that question of what parts of my workflow get fully replaced and what parts of my workflow get augmented, and where and how do I know what each part is? Like, it's not clear at all right now. So I think we're exploring this unknown together, trying to figure out what exactly is it that is going to get replaced, what's going to get augmented, and how can we find that out?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's going to be both. I mean, I think even, you can say it'll be 99 replaced, but that's still a version of augmentation. So I think a lot of stuff will become more and more automated. Copilots, I do think, will shift more and more towards this fully automated sort of task completion. But, you will still interact with them potentially conversationally for sure. I think everybody will have a conversational interface. And then there'll be all these sort of enhancements as well into the product. But that all can, I think, be powered by the idea of a copilot system, where that has that connectivity to the data, the APIs, is making decisions around what to do. I think there's sort of a unified way to sort of think about how do you build that if you were an application builder. But we're certainly still in the early innings.
100%.
For sure.
So, all right, man, I've gone way over on time because I love this agent idea and I love talking to you. I'm going to kick you off now, though, lovingly, and I will see you when I'm in San Francisco in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
See you.